Last year, the governor revived his proposed new tax on Pennsylvania's ambulatory surgical centers. And the majority of those are small businesses, and they already pay multiple taxes. And they're the community-based surgical centers where most Pennsylvanians go for colonoscopies and endoscopies and cataract surgeries. And I think most of us are familiar with them, but they provide high-quality care with efficiencies and cost savings for patients and employers and insurers and, of course, the state. So the General Assembly previously passed legislation to encourage the use of these facilities because of those significant cost savings. And during difficult budget times, the General Assembly never looked to include that tax because of the negative impact that the additional tax burden would have on healthcare costs. So in addition to potential increased healthcare costs, this tax could also jeopardize patient access by putting these surgical centers at risk of cutting back or closing. And you know, that's really concerning for rural patients and those we just discussed, transportation challenges, as well as for patients with high deductibles. So it's my hope that the administration has recognized that Pennsylvania should be encouraging our community-based surgical centers and not taxing them out of the market. So could you confirm that this budget does not contain a proposed new tax on our community-based ambulatory surgical centers?
I can confirm that. That's correct.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If I could also follow up on the previous line of questioning with regard to the elimination of PA workwear. Could you help me understand how the department based its determination that eliminating the PA workwear program and reverting it back to cash will in fact save the Commonwealth a net of $1.6 million annually and not balloon spending again as it had before when the program existed?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, excuse me, as I mentioned, this program was very, very different a decade ago. So we were spending a lot more than we are today. And again, we had double the TANF population that we have today. So this was a cost-saving measure to implement PA workwear for this program. But today, everything is different in our program. We have a lot more program integrity around clothing allowances. So again, I mean, we were spending $2.2 million that could have been $623,000.
You've expressed confidence that it's going to have better controls as compared to the high spending that occurred under DPW prior to PA workwear. But can you walk us through those controls and how you plan to police a return to cash?
So, and just to be clear, it's not a return to cash like we went away from the $150. As I mentioned before, only 38 counties have used PA workwear, so we've had the $150 cash payment for clothing in all the other counties this whole time. So it's not necessarily a return to cash. Now we're basically going to be treating all the counties the same way we have been treating them. So, and your question was, quality controls. So we actually passed regulations after we moved to PA workwear. So today, when people get this clothing allowance, they get $150 they can use for 14 days. If they don't use it in 14 days, it reverts back. And they have to send in receipts so that we know exactly what they spent that on. So we've improved the program integrity significantly.
So you're going to require receipts from clients for clothes that are purchased.
Right.
Have you considered how having clients return with receipts might open new opportunities for fraud? How will it be confirmed that the presented receipt is for the purchase of appropriate clothes and meets the intended purpose? In this day and age, it's so much easier to produce those kinds of things.
I'm going to invite Deputy Secretary Lisa Watson up.
Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please swear affirm.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
I think what we have to do is the Secretary was correct in terms of us requiring receipts. We know that when PA Workwear started, it was something that we absolutely needed to fix because we were just issuing out special allowances is what they're referred to, and there weren't any measures. We weren't requiring receipts. Folks were just getting this money, which is what really attributed to the ballooning of the payment. When the Auditor General came in and they looked at that and they said, you all need to make a change. This is something you need to do differently, and we agreed with it. And I think over the last several years in which we've had PA Workwear, they have been very effective in providing the services that we have wanted. But as we continue to look at all of our cost containment methods and look at where we can save money at, this was one of the places in which we felt that we could, and we also didn't think we would be eliminating any services that we don't currently provide. So to answer your question specifically, as we look at receipts, we would have to do spot checks to see whether or not it is truly what they purchased or not. But rest assured that if it isn't what they purchased, then they are subject to overpayments in which they can be referred to and would be referred to the Office of State Inspector General, similarly to what they would do for any type of welfare fraud in which we have today.
Thank you very much, Deputy
welcome.
Secretary.